we told you that we were taking another trip and traveling, and we are about ready to board the plane. And yes, where we're going, we need our passports, and we're so excited.
All right, we just bought our train tickets
To Vichy,
to
France.
Vichy. Yep.
So we will be able to go visit my friend who is, she's been my pen pal since I was a sophomore in high school for a long time.
So we're actually planning ahead a little bit. We're trying to get things all organized for our departure from Switzerland, so we can go from Switzerland to France. But now it's time to start enjoying Switzerland. So off we go. Here we are in Lucerne. The weather was forecast for a little bit of rain. I think it's 40% rain or something like that, but we really lucked out. We may have gotten sprinkled on just a little bit during one of our walks, but anyhow, this is the farmers market. It's just a beautiful thing along the river, and with the covered bridge in the background. And one of the main things I like to do on vacation, or we both like to do, is eating and tasting all of the wonderful foods that each place has to offer. And this was no exception. So we had a quick snack at a bakery as soon as we got there, and then we found a neat little restaurant overlooking the river and the covered bridge, where we had a proper breakfast and just wonderful food. You just can't match it. It's just a really neat thing.
Very good.
One really cool thing about the trip is that we were able to stay with my cousin at his house in Beinwil, Switzerland. It's about an hour away from Lucerne. And we stayed with Philip and Daniela, just a wonderful, wonderful cousin. I really appreciated staying with them. And they treated us like royalty. And on the first day, we went up for a little hike on a mountain peak.
Ja, super.
That's
Is it a Swiss Air Force as well there?
Mount Pilatus,
Ja, das stört jetzt. Das muss
Mount
ja stimmen.
Titlis,
Ja, jetzt kommt das auch zum Sagen.
and the Rigi.
Perfect.
So sorry.
Jackie didn't have any treats for the llamas, so we hiked down and jumped in the car, then went to the north side of the lake. It's called Hallweiler See. Hallweiler See. And we walked around the castle there, and it was just a neat evening with Daniela, and a good way to close out our first evening in Switzerland. The castle was a beautiful place to end our first evening in Switzerland. The next morning we got up and boarded the train and headed to Lucerne. The thing about Switzerland is it's very easy to go from place to place using the railway system. Very, very easy to get around. So our goal was to just kind of wander around town. I took the entire day and thought, well, it'd be nice to just kind of wander around and see the sights and see what's around Lucerne, and maybe grab some more food and eat our way through our vacation. One thing about most European cities is they typically have fountains in the middle of the squares, and it's just a really neat thing to see. A lot of the fountains you can actually drink out of, but you have to really do your research before actually dipping your cup. The prices are actually pretty reasonable in Lucerne. I found a hat and Jackie found a sweatshirt at pretty bargain prices, so we really enjoyed that fact. Where are you going, sweetie?
Up these 50,000 stairs. Just so we can have a great view of the city.
Now the stairs going up to the Gooch Hotel are the alternative to taking the trolley. We didn't really, well, we weren't able to figure out how to take the trolley, but the stairs were some good exercise as we climbed to the top of the mountain that's overlooking Lucerne. Once you get to the top, there's a little spring, I think it is, a little spring water that dumps into a basin. And you're rewarded with a nice drink after that long climb. The total time to climb was maybe 15 to 20 minutes, so it's not too bad.
Do you want to go through more stairs?
And the hotel restaurant is really kind of cool place to look out, but unfortunately it was closed for renovation. So we ended up just sitting down at the bar, which they had bar food and really nice lunch meats and so forth. And we had a beer and some lunch meat. It was just wonderful as we looked over the views, down onto the city of Lucerne. Here's a good example of some of the dry meats that they have in Switzerland, wherever you go. So the next day we got up and went to Beromunster. And one thing we're going to show in a future video is one of the things that we did, well, two things. We got fitted for our ski equipment, and also we went flying over the Swiss Alps from the Beromunster airport. Now, Beromunster is about 30 kilometers from Lucerne, and just a beautiful little town where my mother grew up, actually. The church in Beromunster is over 1,000 years old, and just a neat place to go and look around. They have the gold leaf-plated decorations inside, and just well kept, and it's been renovated several times throughout the last 1,000 years. So originally Beromunster was founded by a count, and I guess his son was killed by a bear, and that's the town name, Beromunster. Munster meaning a church. And, like all little towns, there's a little bakery. And like I said, in a future video, we're going to talk about the flight that we took. And we took a little walk from the airport to Beromunster, and had a nice little hiking path and got a little exercise.
Grüezi.
Here we're walking back towards the airport, so we could get back in Philip's car and go home. Once we arrived back in Philip's house, we went out to a beautiful dinner overlooking the lake. And then the next morning, got up and Philip made the classic soft-boiled egg. And here Jackie is learning how to use the soft-boiled egg shell cracking device, which was quite a bit of fun. The next day we went with my other cousin Gabriella, and she reserved some boat tickets to take us from Lucerne to Wigis, which is a little town on the side of the Lake of Lucerne that's accessible by car, but it's more fun to take the boats. So we boarded the boat that goes across and just had a nice smooth trip all the way across to Wigis. Once we arrived, we went to my other cousin. He had his name is Sandro. He has a beauty supply and cosmetics, natural cosmetics business. So Jackie got spoiled a bit as we visited Sandro. Actually, we were spoiled by every one of my cousins. It was just wonderful. One of the sailboats belongs to my cousin. I'm looking forward to coming back in the summertime. Maybe we can do some sailing on Lake of Lucerne during one of my future trips. And here we have Jackie and Sandro in Sandro's store, and they're just enjoying all the lotions and things that Sandro prepares. And of course, it was time to return to Lucerne from Wigis, so we saw that the boat was coming in, and we jumped on that boat. It seems like about every half hour or so they have boats going back and forth. It's kind of a water taxi service that you can go back and forth between the towns that are around the Lake of Lucerne. And on the way back, we had a beautiful sunset over the Lake of Lucerne. Now, of course, once we got back, we had to go find a place to have a nice cocktail and maybe some dinner. So we went to a restaurant overlooking the lake, and they had a piano bar where we were able to have a cocktail, and then a traditional meal when we got back down into the town of Lucerne. If you want to see more, definitely like and subscribe. In future videos, I'm going to show you how we skied in the Swiss Alps, and also flying over the Swiss Alps in a Cessna 182, which has had a great time, and there's more to come.